I like to do things like that though, and I like to recently I was driving somewhere and I had to go to the bathroom, and most normal people just pull over, just find a convenience store or something. I wanted to find a construction site so I could use their porta potty and pretend to be like a supervisor or like a foreman, you know. So I drove her. This is real. I drove into a construction zone, and I was driving all around while they were building these houses, and I found the perfect. You'd be surprised how many like guys that are working are just sitting out in their trucks reading the newspaper by the porta potty, because I had to drive by 4 or 5 to find the right one, and I found this perfect porta john. There was a guy inside up on the roof building this house, but he was only one guy, and then about 10 feet ahead of me was 2 other guys that were working on like outside between a couple what do you call them, sawhorses or whatever. So I parked my car right by the porta john, got out, used it, came back out, and I was hoping that one of them was gonna like say, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Because I was gonna go. I had to come up with a name. I was like, "I'm looking for Ben Simon. I'm the foreman." And that was all I was going to say. That's all I wanted to say. And no one interrupted me, so I just got in my car and left. But I just wanted to say that sentence to someone.
You didn't have the attire. You really needed a hard hat.
I needed a hard hat. That's true. If I
step out of the car and put a hard hat on, they know you're there for a reason.
Got to put a hard hat in my car. I got to remember these things. I got to keep one ready to go, man. Because I just...
Otherwise, you're just an asshole who came in there and shit in their shitter.
It was so much fun, though. I love doing these little scenarios.
It's disgusting, though.
Well, it was disgusting.
You tracked down one of the nastiest places to defecate.
Well, again, goes back to I built up some immunities that day, probably. You know, I'm not sick right now. And I was surprised how, like, they do not clean out those construction site porta potties at all. It was like a mountain inside of the, like, I looked down in the bowl and like I was
Why do you do these things?
I looked down in the bowl.
So you're telling me you took a lunch break and then went and played with shit for 20 minutes?
No, I was on the way to a client's. Like I was running a little ahead of schedule, so I had about 20 minutes to kill. So
you filled it with not Flappy Bird, but fucking shit with a stick.
Yeah. I found a random porta potty to use and pretend like I was a construction worker, and while I was in there I inspected, and it really did look like Mount Mordor. Like I could have if I had been Elijah
Did you flush it?
No, there's no flushing in those.
Yeah, there is. You have to flush a porta john.
Well, I didn't flush this one. Not at all.
Well, we always do it on the construction site. You get out and you shake it. You level everything out, splash the water around.
That's how you flush it?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know.
Put that shit down. Make it level.
I'm going to tell you this. No one else had done that either. No one else had done that either. Because it was, like if I was a miniature person, I could have scaled it like a mountain because it was shaped like a mountain. It was really insane. Never seen anything like that. I really never have.
I can't fathom the concept that would make me pull over to go play on a porta john.